So knight f3, ready opening. Okay, d5, c4. White attacks our center pawn, and we play e6 to support our d5 pawn. And I think this is good. And alternative move we can make, that is d4 to expand our space as center, and we can also later play c5 to support d4. So e6 is also an okay move, and we can make that. And if white play d4, and we have queen's gambit decline. So white take the pawn, we take that back, and white play d4, knight f6, knight c3. This is queen's gambit decline, exchange variation, and move c6. So, well, I think c6, bishop e7, both moves can be considered. The thing is with bishop e7 is I want to castle as quickly as possible. And on the other hand, I don't think we have very urgent need to defend d5, so maybe we can hold the c pawn for a little while. And yeah, I mean, I don't think c6 is a mistake. I'm just evaluating the move between c6 and bishop e7. Okay, then we play bishop e7. Fair enough. And bishop take the knight. That's not a very common choice. And we take that back, so we will have pair bishop. That's a good thing for us. And the white play e4. White wants to push the pawn to gain space at the king side and take that. That's good. Otherwise, the pawn will advance. And we play castle. So I'm thinking, can we, for example, move the bishop back to e7? Because I think the dark square bishop or the pair bishop is great asset we can keep. Or maybe can we move queen to a5 to check the king first? If white move the d2 knight, we can win the d4. And if white move the knight back, we can castle and keep our dark square bishop. And if white play queen d2, it's the same. We can take the queen. And if a knight f3 knight takes, we can win d4. If the e4 knight takes, we can avoid the exchange. So the essence behind is, because this is a very open game. I mean, there is an open file already and a lot of like diagonals. So pair bishop usually works better than a knight plus bishop. So it's good if we can keep the bishop. And the thing with queen a5 is we don't have to, I mean, slow down our piece development with bishop e7. So queen a5 is good. We castle and takes, so we don't have pair bishop anymore, and we won't attack d4. Yeah, it will become a little bit less efficient if we don't have dark square bishop, because the pawn is at the dark square. b6. Well, I raised my eyebrow, to be honest, because it will weaken our c6 pawn. And do we really want to push the c5? I'm sure the pawn is pinned. But if white move the queen, c5, we'll lose the pawn. So I will just develop bishop, targeting at the knight, and after the exchange we can attack d4. So at least we can develop piece, and let's see how would white react. So b6, the c6 pawn become like weak. White plays rook c2. Why didn't white move the queen? Because there is a pin come in. So rook c2. Rook c2 is I don't like this move, to be honest, because for example black can develop bishop and attack the rook. And I don't see the point make the rook to c2. Maybe it wants to go to d2, but it's passive. Bishop e6. b3, defend a2, queen g6, castle, bishop h3. Well, does this move really, like, yeah, I know we are talking at the g2, but knight h2, h4, I think white can solve that. And I'm wondering, since we already pushed the b pawn, why don't we push c5? Or before here, when our queen is targeting at d4, can't we just push the c pawn to make our moves consistent? And if rook to d2, I think that's the purpose with the rook c2. We can keep developing pieces, right? If d5 is coming, let's see. I feel we have some opportunity to take the rook, takes that, takes that, takes that, and rook da. The queen goes to e4 and queen a1. White will lose. So white has to sacrifice the queen with the rook, and we take the queen, so we can at least win a pawn. And also half piece. So yeah, so d5 is a mistake, and if it's the same problem with the pawn taking our pawn. We can take that and rook d8. Or is there any other better move than this? Or queen c3, take, take. Let's see if we can check. We can check that. Queen d1, and then we take a2, and later on can take b3. We can at least win a pawn, and that's just a passed pawn. We can build some advantage over the board. So yeah, so since we already moved b6, so I think one thing is we need to make our moves like consistent. So now we changed our direction to the king side, and this attack turned out to be less helpful. Knight e1. What about knight h4? Knight h4 also works, right? Knight h4, queen g5, and I think rook c3. The rook can tap our bishop. Yeah, knight e1. I think this move also works. Bishop f5, rook to d2, queen to e6. I think we'll waste a couple of moves here. After bishop f3, we cannot push the c pawn, and also the c6 will become a target. Knight c2, knight d7, knight e3. White is improving the piece. Bishop to g6, knight c4. Yeah, it's this kick is annoying, and our queen has to be attached with the pawn. I feel like bishop e6 better, because at least we can trade the knight when it comes to c4. And now we are becoming a little bit passive, and white has the opportunity to push the d pawn, I think. And this open file and this diagonal, both of the two lines will be open. So rook e1, white control the open file. Rook c8, protect the pawn. Rook e2, b5, kick the knight. And the knight goes to e5. Take, rook takes. c5. I feel like we can solve the backward problem ahead. So if we play c5, and what about queen e2? And we will lose a c5 pawn after queen e2. Why didn't do that? Actually, queen e2, there's a threat at the background, and also the pawn is unpinned, so white can at least win the c5 pawn. d5, h6. It's good that we solved the background problem. Rook c7, a5. Now the pawn is really strong with support by light square bishop. The rook is attacking our pawn. Yeah. So is there any way we can, for example, create a pass pawn to keep the pawn advanced to c2 at least? This is the place our bishop can support the pawn. The white square bishop is protecting d5, but it's really hard for the pawn to go further. But if we have passed pawn, we can at least reach c2 under the support of our pawn. But the thing is, do we worry about losing a pawn? Yeah, but I don't think losing the pawn when it compares to the d5. For example, c2 is unstoppable, and rook ba, we can move the rook to b1. And also queen c3, there is a double attack. So black is so good when we have the pass pawn reaching c2. So we move rook to aa, offer exchange. Okay, white doesn't want to get a draw. But actually the position turned out favoring black actually, because we can have a passed pawn at c2 as I said. Queen b6, we're chasing around. It looks like we're happy to get a draw here. Okay, white doesn't want to get a draw. But actually we are better if we can create a passed pawn. But we didn't push the pawn. We are playing repetitive moves. It looks like we want to get a draw. Now white protects c4. It's a little bit hard per c4. So now if you see the engine, it's equalized. Oh, we lost the pawn. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We should protect the pawn. But at the same time, I think white has adjusted pieces to a very good position, attacking a5 and also threatening the back rank check. I think we are too hoping to get a draw here, but ignore to improving the pieces to a better position like c4. We always can play c4. Yeah, this is making our position worse. Queen e2, b4. Yeah, now white has built up very good strengths. e4. Yeah, we cannot basically stop the pawns. Rook b6. Okay, I think white made mistakes. White can actually push c pawn. It doesn't have to take our b4. This two pawn are way powerful. So this exchange actually favors black because the connected pawns are gone. It looks like the game will end up as a draw. Rook's endgame is super hard to win for the stronger side. Okay, we trapped the rook. White blunder. That's very fortunate for us. It's very good that we catch this opportunity. This is so funny. Yeah, then we won. Cool. It's good that we took this opportunity. It's a fantastic, very good. But meanwhile, I think I have already mentioned that actually we kind of missed our strengths with this pawn majority at the queen side. So for example, when the game turned out to be like this, we just move our rooks around to get a draw here, but actually our pieces are better than the black pieces if we look at the pass pawn. So this d5 pawn cannot move further because it's a dark square, but we can move the pawn to c2, right? I don't think there is any problem with the pawn reaching c2. Let's see if white play bishop to e4 to offer exchange, stopping here, so we can still move the pawn to c3 and later c2 if the rook goes to e2. First of all, these two rooks are separated, which means they are kind of I mean, weak, they cannot protect each other. Our rooks can protect each other. We can still push the pawn to c2. We have huge advantage. And this is something we missed in this game. And that's it.